Yeah.
The Supreme Court is corrupt. We have yet more evidence. Not that we needed it. We've been talking for years about Samuel Alito doing fundraisers for Republicans, Clarence Thomas and his wife Ginny Thomas, who received money for consulting.
Isn't it Ginny?
I think it's Guinea.
Guinea?
Yeah.
Really?
Is it Ginny?
Who's? Yeah, short for like Virginia.
Ginny. Virginia. That makes sense. That doesn't make... I thought
I
for
mean,
whatever
what's
reason...
Guinea?
Guinea, you know, like
a
Papua
guinea pig?
Like Papua New Guinea. I don't know. Ginny Thomas, excuse me, Lewis. Whoever she is, whoever Clarence Thomas's wife is, was involved in consulting with agencies, organizations that may at some point come before the Supreme Court, and Clarence Thomas is all wrapped up in it, and John Roberts is doing fundraisers. Now, Clarence Thomas and Antonin Scalia attended a dinner sponsored by law firms opposed to Obamacare. And they're going to be hearing stuff about Obamacare for years, Lewis. Is it at all appropriate for Supreme Court justices to be attending dinners paid for by those that are going to be trying to repeal Obamacare at the Supreme Court? And if what you're going to say to me, Lewis, because you're a student of the law, like much of our audience, that they are not actually doing anything illegal because justices are exempt from the code of conduct that governs lower federal judges. Supreme Court judges are exempt from that. If that's what you're going to tell me, my question isn't whether it's legal, it's whether it's ethical and whether it's indicative of corruption. That's my question. And, legal scholar talk aside.
Clearly unethical.
You agree with that?
Clearly.
I mean, if we look at the canons of judges, and I know that many are arguing here that they are exempt from this at the highest level. Canon 5 is a judge should refrain from political activity. And for me, as we've talked about, giving speeches at Republican fundraisers and attending this event, to me, is a political activity. That's just, it just is. These are political events. And canon number 2, a judge should avoid impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities. And even if Scalia is going to argue, or Clarence Thomas is going to argue, that there isn't actual impropriety in attending this, there is the appearance of impropriety because we're talking about it. And that is to be avoided.
Clearly, these judges have a deep understanding of the law and probably an even deeper understanding of the law as it pertains to them, right? And
Sure.
their activities.
Right.
And clearly, they're not trying to hide any of their political affiliations, right?
Well, I guess they wouldn't say that this is an affiliation. They would say merely attending the event is not indicative of an affiliation. The thing is, do you think now they're actually going to vote on the conservative side of Obamacare, whereas before they weren't? We already knew which side they would vote on anyway.
Right.
We know where these two votes are going if and when Obamacare continues to make it to the Supreme Court. That's the reality.
Right. But, I mean, this type of activity is going to continue. I mean, let's be honest, they're still going to be doing the same types of things behind closed doors if they had to, if this were illegal, right? I mean, they're humans. They have they go one way or they go the other way.
Yes, they are human.
They're
I
not
agree with that.
robots.
No.
You know, they have their beliefs, they have their ideals, they have their moral convictions.
And they have the same corruption that every other area of government appears to have.
I guess so.
Let's go to your...
I mean, there's going to have to be some type of legislation to
make anything change, yeah.
And if they are
Deciding on
against
that.
this legislation, if they're deciding on it, if the House and Senate are deciding on that, what's going to happen? Absolutely nothing.